Okay, so this time we're going to tackle about electronic commerce and digital goods in markets. No, e-commerce is the purchase and sale of goods and services over the internet. Digital goods, also known as virtual goods, are things that can be downloaded or accessed online and are provided electronically, such as software, music, movies, ebooks, and online courses. As are provided electronically, no, more people resort to online platforms to buy and consume digital items. E-commerce marketplaces that specialize in digital goods are becoming increasingly popular. One advantage of digital goods is that they are simple to distribute and may be delivered immediately to the customers, eliminating shipping expenses and delays. Digital goods are also less harmful to the environment because they do not require physical packing or transportation. Marketplaces that specialize in digital goods such as Amazon, let's say for ebooks, iTunes for music, and Udemy for online courses provides a diverse range of products from many sellers in one convenient area. Customers will find it easier to find and purchase what they are looking for, and vendor will have a broader audience to offer their products to. However, selling digital goods introduces new challenges such as piracy and copyright infringement. No? To avoid unauthorized distribution of their products, retailers must safeguard their intellectual property and utilize digital rights management. The digital goods market is fast expanding and e-commerce platforms are evolving to accommodate the changing needs of users and sellers. So the field of e-commerce has witnessed significant expansion since its inception. That is way back 1995, if I'm not mistaken, with the presence of a limited number of advertisements on early web portals. By the year 2010, e-commerce accounted for more than 8% of total retail sales, reaching as an estimated of around 300 US dollar or billion, no? And this remarkable growth has resulted in e-commerce exceeding the traditional mail order catalog sector in terms of market share. E-commerce represent a captivating fusion of many business models and emerging information technology. So to commence, let us establish a fundamental comprehension of many classification of e-commerce, followed by an elucidation of e-commerce enterprise and their corresponding revenue frameworks. In addition to this discussion, our presenter will encompass emerging technologies that will facilitate firms in assessing a vast online customer base on over 250 million individuals with around the world, as well as estimated 1 billion individuals globally. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
So thank you for that wonderful introduction, Doc Abante. And I am Raymond Arhung, and I will be discussing the chapter 10, Electronic Commerce and Digital Goods and Markets. So before we start, allow me to share to you the course intended learning outcomes of this chapter. At the end of this module or at the end of this discussion, I hope that you are expected to determine the unique features of e-commerce, digital markets, and digital goods. Second, discuss how the e-commerce transformed marketing. And lastly, appreciate on how has e-commerce affected business-to-business transaction. So we all know that we already talked about on the chapter 7 has been discussed by Miss Cato and Miss Branco, the internet, wireless technology, and telecommunication. I'm not going to expound it today because we already talked about it on the previous report that internet and e-commerce has a side-by-side thing. So internet, a system design that has significantly transformed mass communication, mass media, and commerce, facilitate and in the interconnection of diverse computer networks around the globe. So the internet, sometimes described as a network of networks, originated in the United States during the 1970s, although its accessibility to the general public was not established until the early 1990s. So the internet has made electronic commerce, buying and selling much more simpler, because rather than going to the traditional brick and mortar that you're going to visit the stores, you can just simply do some basic clicking on your electronic devices. So in today's e-commerce, allow me to give you a definition of the e-commerce. It is the practice of conducting business over the web and the internet. So it is the exchange of goods and services between and among businesses and people using the digital technology. So as you can see here on the graph, um, I'm so sorry, it's not moving. Okay, as you can see here on the graph, um, this graph started on 1995 up to 2016. So the retail e-commerce revenue grew on 15 to 25% until the recession on 2008 and 2009. They were slowed measurably, and in 2012, the e-commerce revenue grew again at the estimated 15% annually. So just to give you an update on that specific percentage, the internet sales have played increasingly significant role in retailing, knowing that we have faced the pandemic, and in 2022, e-commerce accounted for nearly 19% of the retail sales worldwide. Forecasts indicate that 2027, the online segments will make up close to the quarter of the total globe retail sales. So the e-commerce today has been booming since 2020 up until today, knowing that due to the pandemic strike, we cannot go, or some people are scared to go to the supermarkets and different shops. So that's they utilize the e-commerce or the different platforms in the internet that they can use on their social mobile phones and different digital technology like the computers or tablets. So for this one, what makes e-commerce is different? First, ubiquity. So for ubiquity, the internet technology is available everywhere. You can just utilize it, or you can just simply use your mobile phones on your work or your laptops, computers, and at your home also. So that's why some of the companies, specifically just to give you an example, the radio satellite or the Sirius XM in the United States, they do have a tagline that you can use or listen to our music anytime, anywhere, and anytime, anywhere, or at your own car, because they don't use some of the US citizen don't use the traditional FM and AM radio on their cars. So that's why they do have this subscription that it is a radio satellite that it's a plug and play radio that you can put it on your car, and it has different sets of like for example in 201 you can just simply listen to your favorite Coldplay, or in 202 you can just simply listen to your favorite Taylor Swift songs and some podcasts too. And in global reach, the technology reaches across national boundaries around the world, knowing that you can just simply use your mobile phones anywhere and anytime, at any place. And just to give you an example, again, in when we are purchasing in Lazada, sometimes the parcels that have been purchased on Lazada is coming from different locations, like for example in China. So that's why e-commerce has a global reach. So e-commerce also has a universal standards, because there is one set of technology standard, namely internet standard. So in general, internet standards cover in intero interoperability of systems on the internet through defining protocols, message formats, schemas, and languages. An internet standard ensures that hardware and software produced by different vendors can work together. And the fourth one is richness. So video, knowing that, like what Dean Abante said, that you can just simply, knowing that the e-commerce right now is so huge, you can just simply watch videos, audios, and text messages are possible on the e-commerce right now, because like rather than going to cinema, you can just simply watch your favorite favorite movies on the streaming services that we do have right now, the Netflix, VU, Viva Max, and etc. And in audio, like what Dean Melo said, in the iTunes for the Apple users, and some for the Android users, we do have the Spotify, YouTube, and etc. So for the fifth one, we do have the interactivity. The technology works through interaction with the user. So for if we're going to use a website, some of the new added features is that you can just simply interact to the AI bot or the the chatbot that they do created. So for the e-commerce, it helps them to reach customers if the customers wanted to ask some queries. The AI chatbot can just simply answered all of the queries of the customer, and knowing that if it's already the closing time of the business, they can just simply use that specific feature for the AI or the bots that they do added on. Specifically on Facebook, way back then they don't have the pre-command the bots that they do offer. Specifically, if we're going to chat the Facebook page of a certain merchant, we just needed to wait for a few some of few hours or some moment of time before we get the response. So as of the moment, they are pre-prompted texts that, if for example, how much does it cost? The pre-prompted text will respond, or the bot will respond the pre-prompted text that the merchant is inputted on the pre-prompted text. So information density, the technology reduce information cost and raise the quality. So knowing that the rather than using or advertising using the traditional marketing that we do have way back then, but up until now we're still using the traditional marketing. But the biggest cost cutting, the biggest trends right now is the Facebook market, the digital marketing, or the we're using the Facebook marketing to reach out our prospects, and that reduces the information's cost that we do, or the cost that it reduces the cost that we do have in a certain business. Next one is the personalization or customization. The technology allows the merchants to personalize message to be delivered to individuals as well as a group. So we can simply personalize everything. Like for example, if we do have a Facebook page or an IG account, Instagram account, or a web page, we can just simply personalize it to the target markets that we do have, so that the interface of our Facebook page, Instagram page, or the web page looks appealing to the target customers that we do wanted to interact. Next is social technology. So the technology supports content generation and social networking. So knowing that in these trends, like what Miss Dana said, there are so many ways to utilize the internet or the social media platforms, and knowing that the social technology right now, like what the one of the biggest platform that we do have right now is the Facebook, and we're using it up until we're like Facebook is now going to going to different things, like they are adding such way back then they don't have the different apps like the Messenger, because it is connected also in the Facebook, in the interface of Facebook. But as of the moment, they added up the Messenger application. That's why, so that we can connect to different people as early, without logging in and out to Facebook application. So key components in e-commerce and digital markets and digital goods in a global market. So information asymmetry, or with the definition, exists when one party in the transaction has more information that is important for the transaction than the other party. Next one is the menu cost. Merchants' cost is merchants' cost of changing prices. So the merchants has the power to do price changes to his or her the items that he or she is selling, or the service that he or she is giving. So dynamics pricing, the price of the product varies depending on the demand characteristic of the customers or the supply situation on the seller. So as you can see on this graph, the so there are different multiple prices points that we are setting depending on the customer's characteristic. If the customer is in a look is like in NCR, they are setting such price the price so high, and if the customers is in suburbs, they can just set their prices into the middle part. So the dynamic pricing, it's up to you. How are you going to set the price due to the demand and the demand of your products or services that you do offer, and depending on the customers that is purchasing it, if they are in the middle class, lower class, or upper class. Disintermediation, removal of organization or business processes, layers, and responsible for intermediary steps in the value chain. So in disintermediation, manufacturer directly sells the items or the goods to the customers. So they are the ones directly selling it. It's business to B2C. In this term mediation. Lastly, digital goods are the goods that can be delivered over the digital network, like what the Dean Abante said. It is the ebooks, the musics that we do purchase using the iTunes, the videos that we do download using the streaming services that like the Netflix, etc. So types of e-commerce. First is B2C, or business to consumer e-commerce. So business to consumer e-commerce are the electronic commerce involving retailing products and services to individual shoppers. So from manufacturer, they will be delivering it to different consumers who purchase it directly without any any middleman or mediaries hindering it, or adding up some cost to it. So next is B2B, business to business e-commerce, or electronic commerce or e-commerce involves sales of goods and services among businesses. So from manufacturing, it will be delivered to different shops and businesses also. For example, if the manufacturing business will produce a flour to different bakeries, that is the business to business. So customer to customer, or C2C. Customer to customer e-commerce involves consumers selling directly to consumers. So C2C are also known as affiliates as of the moment. The consumer who consumes the specific products just simply creating a web page or some since he or she is an affiliate sa such things that he is advertising such products for him or her to earn such money based on the commission or how many products he or she sold to different people. So e-commerce business models, here are the samples. The e-tailer, transaction broker, market creator, content provider, community provider, portal, service provider. So e-tailer are sells physical products directly to consumers to or to individual businesses. So this is B2B, like Amazon, uh, Amazon redenvelope.com. So for this one, in terms of e-tailers, we do have such here in the Philippines, we do have such the thing that we can compare to Amazon.com is the Lazada, Shopee, and etc. And the transaction broker saves users money at time by processing online sales transaction and generating a fee each time the transaction occurs. So the etrade.com is like it is a website that you can just simply do some such tradings. Tradings like the stocks and the investments that you wanted to enter. So market creator provides digital environment when buyers and sellers can meet. So this is the marketplace that since in Amazon.com there is also a marketplace. In Facebook we do have a marketplace also, and in eBay and in Priceline.com. So sometimes market creator can serve consumer or it's B2B e-commerce generating revenue from the transaction fees. So content provider creates revenue by providing digital content such as news, music, photos, or videos over the web. So the big example here that we do have here in the Philippines are the affiliates or the bloggers that do we do pay to advertise our products. But here are the examples of the e-commerce websites that we can use: WSJ.com, JettyImage.com, iTunes.com, and Games.com. So community providers provides an online meeting place when people can that with similar interests can communicate and find useful information. And that are the social medias that we do have, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, um, LinkedIn, Google Plus, iVillage, and etc. Some and Infortals provides initial point of entry to the web along with specialized contents and other services like Yahoo, Google Mail, Bing, Microsoft Mozilla, and Internet Explorer. So service provider are the provides web 2.0 applications such as photo sharing, video sharing, and users generated content as service provides other services such as online data storage and backups. So that are the Google Apps, Photo Bucket, Dropbox, so iClouds, and etc. So models for e-commerce revenue. So that are or the e-commerce revenue are a firm revenue model describes how the firm will earn revenue, generate profit, and produce superior returns on investment. So for that one, we do have five. First are the model of advertising revenue. So these are the websites generates revenue by attracting a large audience of visitors who can then be exposed to advertisements. Next is models for sales revenue are the companies derive revenue by selling goods, information, and services to customers. Next is subscriber-based business model, a website offering content or services, service charges to subscription fees for access of to some or all of its offerings on an ongoing basis. For example, the subscription on different streaming services that we do have, or on different, for example, there are so many streaming subscriber based model like on dating applications, streaming services, data storage services, the applications that we do use right now, so like the different applications that we do use, like Adobe, Microsoft One, or the Microsoft systems that we do use, Microsoft, yeah, the Microsoft One that we do use, Microsoft 365 that we do use. There is a subscription for that one so that we can utilize the different Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access that we can use at every time on our PCs. Premium or revenue model are offer essential services or contents for free while charging a premium for or special features. So sometimes when we do search for some reference on the book, on the Google, on the internet or Google, there are some websites that needed to they are just going to show some parts of the papers that we needed to use, and the other parts are hidden so that um, so that the other so that you're going to their premium services so that you can unlock all of the pages in that certain research that you are doing so. Next is transaction fee model for revenue. So a company receives a fee for enabling and executing a transaction. So for this fee, it requires a middleman for you to do a transaction, and there are some different there are some companies that requiring also transaction fees, or specifically in the bank in our banking system. If we transfer money, there are transaction fees, the 25 pesos for the InstaPay, and etc. So models for affiliate revenue. So websites called affiliate websites send visitors to other websites in return for a referral fee or percentage of the revenue from any resulting sales. So for this one, the model for affiliate, the best example that I can give to you are the Facebook video. Sometimes the Facebook videos, you're just going to watch a little bit of their videos, and there are some advertisements that you wanted to earn some money, you can just install this application, and based on if you just add up their referral code, they're going to earn such commissions based on how many entries of referral code that they got for that specific videos. So social networking and crowdsourcing wisdom. So there are three. So social networking sites. So social networking sites links people through their mutual business or personal connections, enabling them to mine their friends and their friends and for sales leads, job hunting tips, and or new friends. So for this one, the best social networking sites that we sites or that we do have are the Facebook, LinkedIn. Sometimes because the job street doesn't shows you the mutual businesses that are the previous businesses that you do have, or the mutual credentials that you do have. Like if you add up such the World City Colleges on your profile, the LinkedIn will show you such people who studied in World City Colleges, who works on these different industries. So that is the social networking. So in the crowdsourcing involves obtaining work, information, and opinion from a large group of people who submit their data via internet, social media, or smartphone apps. So in the crowdsourcing, um, if the social media, if the social networking site is one-to-one, in the crowdsourcing, um, you can get so many answers in if you posted in, like, in some, for example, in Facebook or in in LinkedIn. If you do crowdsourcing, there are so many people who can answer. Or if you want to obtain a work, you can just simply do such crowdsourcing to different people or to different companies, or like for you to obtain a specific information. And crowdsourcing is some like what when we're doing a research, doing a crowdsourcing for us to get answers via the internet. Next is wisdom of crowds. It is a theory that assumes that the knowledge of a crowd results in better decision making, in innovation, and problem solving than that of an individual. So knowing that the knowledge of the crowd, it it defines that it gives the results on better decision making, innovation. Knowing that recently, um, the Philippine is show the NAISDA, the for the innovation services that for the innovation, uh, for the betterment of the innovation of different industries that we do have here in the Philippines. They launched the National Innovation Agenda or document, or the NIASD, and there are so many strands for that specific NIASD. For example, if you want to do some processing, innovative, want to help in digital sides, like in IT industries, they do have that one, and entrepreneurship and other things in agriculture sector, to up to healthcare. E-commerce marketing is the act of driving awareness and actions towards a business that sells its products or services electronically. E-commerce marketers can use social media, digital content, search engines, and campaigns to attract visitors and facilitate purchases online. So, behavioral targeting refers to the tracking the click streams, history of clicking behavior of individuals on thousands of websites for the purpose of understanding their interests and intentions and exposing them to advertisements that are uniquely suited for their behavior. So, for example, there is a person who always clicks or search for ducks, rubber duckies. So all of the advertisements that will be showed to him will be regarding rubber duckies, or in the algorithm will show to him all of the rubber duckies that is available in the market to him. So there are online marketing advertising formats, the search engine, display ads, videos, classified, rich media, lead generation, sponsorships, and emails. So you can use the clicking behavior of different people based on these advertising formats that we do have in the internet. So as you can see, based on the 2012 results in the search engine, they earned 17.6 dollars, and in this display ads, it is $8.7, videos $2.9, in classified $2.6, in rich media $1.08, lead generation $1.07, and in sponsorship it's $1.61, and in email it's 22 cents. E-commerce website visitors tracking are the different types of clickable click streams that we do get in an advertisements. So e-commerce website and advertising platforms like Google's DoubleClick have tools to track a shopper's every steps through an online stores and then across the web as shoppers move from site to site. Close animations of customers' behavior at the website selling women clothes shows what these stores might learn each steps and the actions it could take to increase the sales. So everything now in the internet, and if you have a page, everything now on the internet that what we do is tracked by a system, and it teaches us the websites that you have this. It shows a statistical data specifically in the Facebook on page. You're going to see how many visits that you do get on your Facebook page, what are your engagement, how many likes you get on this specific post, how many interactions you get on this specific on the specific products. So click one, the shoppers clicks on the home page. So that is the click one. And the store can tell that the shoppers arrive at from the Yahoo portal at 2:30. There is the time 2:30 p.m., which might help it and the customer service center on how long women, the specific person, linger at the home page, and which might indicate trouble navigating the helps trouble navigating the sites. So tracking beacons load cookies on the shopper browser to follow her across the web page. Click 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The shoppers clicks on blouses, clicks on the selected woman white blouse, and clicks on the view the same item. The shoppers click in the size 10. The different categories that we can click on. That is the click 1, 2 to 5, and click 6 is the from the shopping cart. The shopper clicks to close the web page, the websites without purchasing house. So that is the end of. Sorry. Okay, so that is the click 6 is the end of the transaction when the people or the human being the website. So firms can create unique personalized web page and display contents or ads for products or services of special interest to individual users, improving the customer's experience and creating additional value. So the users and the web, as you can see, the users and the website has been interacting to each other, because as users, we are browsing the website so that we can get such information, and the website is showing the users the informations that he or she is searching for. So based on for example here, based on your portfolio and recent market trends, here are some recommendations. That is the website is giving the users that specific recommendations based on the sometimes based on the things that he or she previously clicks. For example, in Shopee and Lazada, you can see on the homepage the recommended items you can purchase at a lower cost. If you have previously purchased that or check out that specific item, they will be giving you such different varieties that you might like to. So here are some examples. Also, welcome back, Steve P. Muson. Check on this recommendation, and that is the website personalization, and they are giving you the one the different pop-ups, and specifically in our different in our phones, there are so many different things that they are giving you. Like if you log into, for example, if you log into the smart application, they are giving you such, see this promotion that you might like, etc. So, advertising networks and their use of tracking programs have become controversial among privacy advocates because of their ability to track individual consumers across the internet. So, how the advertising networks such as DoubleClick works? So, from the merchant site, so this is the merchant site. So the merchant will be checking all of the doubleclick.net. So the merchant server connects to the doubleclick.net ad server. So the advertising network, so the user's profile database, the ad servers reads the cookies rich database to profile, and the network member firm, the doubleclick.net throws it here and throws it to the consumer, so that the consumer who requests the web page from the from ad network members, the consumer requests ad web page from ad network member sites, and the double click follows consumers from site to site through use the tracking program. So ad server selects and serves an appropriate banner ad based on the profile of the consumer. Next is the electronic data interchange, or EDI. So companies use EDI to automate transaction for B2B e-commerce and continuous inventory replenishment. Suppliers can automatically send data about shipments to purchasing firms, and the purchasing firms can use EDI to provide production and inventory requests and payment data to suppliers. So as you can see, it is a two-way. So from supplier system up to firm system, so the shipping data will be shared to the both of them. The payment data will be shared to the both of them, and so to the product and inventory requirement will be shared to the both of them, so that the firms and the suppliers can continuously interact with each other. If they are lacking of some supplies, the suppliers can easily send some supplies, and like what the reporter said on our production operations and production, to quote it, para hindi daw po sila para continuous yung process ng business at hindi sila nauubusan ng stocks. So they use these electronic data interchange. So electronic business to business transaction are those that takes place between businesses and are increasingly being carried out using a range of other internet enabled means. So in figure 10.7, a private industrial network, or a private industrial network, also known as a private exchange, links a firm to its suppliers, distributors, and other key businesses partners to for efficient supply chain management and other collaborative commerce activities. So from firm, they do have such connection to using the PIN or private industrial networks so that they can just simply get from their suppliers, and from this to they do have this they can just simply connect to their distributors if they needed such a new set of products. So if the firm will create a for example, a bread, they needed to contact the suppliers of flour, the packaging, and etc. that they needed to. And the distributors, the firm will contact the distributors, for example, the SM, Robinsons, if they wanted to have a new set of batch of supplies. And next is figure 10.8, the net marketplace. So the net marketplace are online marketplace where multiple buyers can purchase from multiple sellers. So you can see on net marketplace the catalog, sourcing, automated purchasing, and processing and fulfillment. So on net marketplace, it is composed of suppliers and the buyers. They are just meeting in the marketplace so that the suppliers can post their products for like in the Facebook, they're just going to post their location, how much it costs, when if it's going to be delivered, how much it will be the shipping fee, and if you're going to be going to do such meetups, where are the locations available for the suppliers and the sellers will be talking about too. So additional mobile commerce or services, customers can now manage their accounts from their mobile devices thanks to the service being offered by the banks and credit card firms. So as of the moment, we do have such an access rather than visiting the bank. We can just simply tap our different informations, or we can create transactions using our online banking system. So games and entertainments, tablets and smartphones have evolved into portable entertainment system. So way back then, we just utilized it to play games and just for a little bit of entertainment. But due to the adaptations or the digitalizations of or the innovations of different tablets, smartphones, and etc. We are now having so many, like for example, the iPhone 15 has been recently released. So that is the new innovation of Apple, so that they can give such quality product to different customers. So now we can use it to digital games, and like not just digital games. We do have such high-end games like the Call of Duty Mobile that has been 30 GB if you 30 gigabytes if you download it. Mobile Legends and etc. You can watch movies, like you can just simply streams on Viva Max, VU, Netflix, etc., YouTube, and on the TV episodes, like you can just, if you don't want to pay such, and if you wanted to have a free TV episodes, you can just simply watch it on Bilibili and other more websites on the internet. And if you wanted to listen to your music, to your favorite music, you can just simply go to YouTube, Spotify. It's either premium or the free one, or the mob or the mob or the Spotify, that you can just simply listen to different musics without paying. And the ringtones are available for download and streaming on smartphones like iPhone and Android based devices, like what Dean Abante said. So building an e-commerce presence. So building a successful e-commerce presence requires a keen understanding of business, technology, and social issues as well as a systematic approach. So the site building puzzle piece. So let's assume you are the manager for a medium-sized industrial firm of around 10,000 employees worldwide. So operating in 8 countries in Europe, Asia, and North America. So the senior management has given you a budget of 1 million US dollars to build an e-commerce site within 1 year. So the purpose of this site will be to sell and service the firms to 20,000 customers who are mostly small machines and metal fabricating shops around the world. So where do you start? So here are some main areas where you will need to make decisions. First, the human resource and organizational capabilities. They are creating team with skill sets needed to build and manage a team success to a successful site. So from the hardware, software, telecommunication, and site design, site design, because from your if you have developed your team, you're going to create the hardware, the software, the telecommunications, and the site design or the interface of the websites. So that are the things that you needed to focus on this vibe. You need to focus on this vibe for you to be able to create the specific project that your senior manager is asking you. So business objectives, system functionality, and information requirements. In planning your website, you need to answer the question: what do we want the e-commerce site to do for our business? So the key lesson to be learned here is to let your business decision drive the technology, not the reverse. So this will ensure that your technology platform is aligned with your business. We will assume that here that you have identified a business strategy and chosen a business model to achieve your strategic objectives. But how do you translate the strategies, business model, and ideas into your working e-commerce site? So if we're going to focus here on table 10.8, the system analysis of business objectives, system functionality, and information requirements for a typical e-commerce site. This is the business objectives like the display goods. The system functionality is display digital catalog. And the information requirements are the dynamic text and graphic catalogs. So the picture of the product and the name of the product, how much it costs, that is the information requirement needed. And if the business objective is the product, provide product information, the system functionality needed to have is the product database. So the information requirement is the product description, stocks number, inventory levels. So that's why if you visit Shopee, the interface of if you click such products, you will be given such informations about the product, how many items left on that specific sellers is selling, and etc. So execute a transaction payment, and that is the business objective. So for this one, the system functionality needs a shopping cart and a payment system. So the information requirement for that thing is secure credit card clearing and multiple options. So for this one, so like for example, if we add to cart a specific item, the next process of it would be the checkout interface or the payment method interface. So that is the thing the system functionality how the system functionality works for the execute a transaction payment. Next is accumulate customers information. So the system functionality is customers. customer database. So the information requirements are the name, address, phone, and email for all customers, online customers registration. So for this one, before if it's our first purchase, for example, in TikTok shops, if it's just your first transaction has been, if this is your first transaction, they will be asking you to fill up such forms for them to deliver to you the product. Next is provide after sales customer support. So the system functionality is sales database and customers relationship management system using the CRM. So the information requirements, customers ID, product, date, payment, and shipment date. So if we're going to check the transactions after or we're going to visit the Lazada and Shopee, after the transaction, we will be seeing received it was tagged as received, and still the informations were who ordered it and where did they send the item, and who the address of the receiver, the contact number, the email, and the order ID at the bottom of the items. That is the provide after sales customers, because that all of that specific and sometimes in the provide after sales customer support, if you already provide the payment method, like if it was cash on delivery, you will be seeing the estimated delivery dates, and coordinate marketing, advertising, are the system functionality are ad server, emails, campaign manager, and ad banners manager. So information requirements are site behavior log of prospects and customer link to email and banner ad campaigns. So sometimes, as the customers opt out our advertising, like, if we created an account, so that after the terms and condition, there is a possibility that there is a checkbox that we needed to check if we wanted to receive some advertisement, email marketing, etc., and soon to be promotional deals. So that is under that coordinating market advertise or advertising. Understanding marketing effectiveness. So the system functionality is site tracking and report system. So the information requirement for that specific thing is number of unique visitors, page visited, products purchased, identifies by marketing campaign. So for this one, for us to understand, specifically in Facebook page, there is, after the name or the informations that you do add, if you scroll down a little bit at the lower part of your Facebook page information, there is a small engagement bars and small engagement bars on how many persons visited your Facebook page, how many persons likes or shares your postings. So lastly is provide production and suppliers links. So the system functionality is inventory management system. So the information requirement is product and inventory level, suppliers ID, and contact. Order quantity data by product. So this, like what I mentioned earlier, the EDI. So that is the so that the suppliers and the manufacturers can contact each other at a timely manner. So that is the system that they are using, the electronic data interchange. Next is the website development for in-house or versus outsourcing. So there are many choices for building and maintaining the websites. Much depends on how much money you are willing to spend. Choices range from outsourcing the entire website development to an external vendor, to build everything yourself in-house. You also have a second decision to make. Will you host or operate the site on your own firm's on your firm's own server, or you will outsource a hosting for a web host provider. So as you can see here on the figure 10.10, choice in building and hosting a website. So the building the website, there are two: the in-house. For the building the website, we do complete in-house. You're going to build it and you're going to host it, or the mixed one. If you're going to in-house it, you're just going to build it in-house and you're just going to host it outsource. That is the mixed responsibility to build it, to build in and host it. So there is a possibility that you're going to build ask a vendor to build it outside, and you're going to host it on your in-house firm. So that is the build outside and host inside. And there is a completely outsourced that you're going to ask a third part, a vendor or a third party system to host and build your websites. You have a number of alternatives to consider when building and hosting an e-commerce website. Um, and I think this is the last slide that I do have for this report. So the key system application for the digital age are building decision, the hosting decision, and the website budgets or spending. So in terms of building decision, so it just simply talks about the how are you going to tackle, or how are you going to engage when building your website into just so in the building decision, it talks about who's going to build, if you are the one who's going to build your websites, or if you're just going to ask a third party IT or IT person to build something for your own. So if you elect to build your own site, there are a range of options. Unless you are fairly skilled, you should use a pre-built template to create a website. So if you're going to create a website, there are so many websites like the GoDaddy. So you can just simply design your own there, and if you don't want to, you can just simply hire some ITs, people who can create a better design to that specific websites. In the hosting decision, most businesses choose to outsource hosting and pay a company to host their website. So, which means that the hosting company is responsible for ensuring the site is live and accessible 24/7, 24 hours a day. So the person or the third party company who is doing the hosting for you will keep your website in run for 24 hours a day, or 24/7. So the website budget or spending is simple. Simple websites can be built and hosted with a first tier cost of $5,000 or less per year. So the website of large firms with high levels of interactivity and linkages to corporate systems cost several $1 million a year to create and operate that specific website. So for this key application for digital age, we all know that the SMEs, or the small medium enterprises that we do have here in the Philippines, they are just building such their Facebook page on their own, and they are just creating their IG page so that they can have the website budgeting or the website spending is just at a lower cost. So that is the end of chapter 10, and thank you for listening.
Okay, so thank you so much, presenter, no? Again, e-commerce entails commercial transaction facilitated by digital technology between and among businesses and individuals. So e-commerce technology is distinguished by its ubiquity, global reach, universal technology standards, richness, interactivity, information density, personalization, and customization capabilities in social technology. Because digital information asymmetry, search costs, transaction costs, and reduce actually transaction costs and menu costs, as well as their ability to dynamically adjust prices in response to market condition. Over a digital network, digital products such as audio, video, software, and books can be delivered. And once a digital product has been created, the cost of digitally delivering that product is minimal. So the business model for e-commerce include e-retailers, transaction facilitator, market creators, content providers, community providers, service providers, and portals. Advertising like advertising, no sales, subscription, premium, transaction fees, and affiliate programs are the primary e-commerce revenue models. So the internet provides new methods for identifying and communicating with millions of potential consumers at a fraction of the cost of conventional media. Utilizing the wisdom of crowds, no, through crowdsourcing enables businesses to learn how customers in order to enhance product offerings and increase customer value. So the effectiveness of banner, rich media, and video advertisement is enhanced behavioral targeting technique, no? And of course, B2B or business-to-business e-commerce creates efficiencies by allowing businesses to electronically locate suppliers, solicit bids, place hold orders, and trace shipments in transit. And multiple buyers and sellers can access a singular or digital marketplace via the internet. So private industrial networks connect a company to its suppliers and other strategic business partners in order to create highly responsive and efficient supply chains. Now, mobile commerce right now is ideally adapted for location-based applications such as locating nearby hotels and restaurants, no, monitoring local traffic and weather, and delivering personalized location-based marketing. So mobile phones and handhelds are used for mobile bill payment, banking, security tradings, transportation, schedule updates, and digital content downloads, including music, games, and videos, snippets. No? Mobile commerce necessitates wireless portals and micro-payment capable digital payment systems. So building a successful e-commerce website necessitates a thorough comprehension of the site's business objectives and the selection of the appropriate technology to achieve those objectives. Again, e-commerce site can be built and hosted in-house or delegated in part or in a whole to external service providers or in a third party. So I think that's it for chapter 10. Thank you and to the presenter and good afternoon.